welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this coffee chat. It's International Women's Day. My name is Carrie Weber. I'm the U.S. Marketing and Communications Manager here in Colorado. Thank you again. We're so glad you could be here with us. International Women's Day is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. So today we look forward to sharing with you all the achievements of our clients in Guatemala and what Friendship Bridge is doing to celebrate and support them. Just to review a few logistics, we will be muting everyone during this event as we talk through a series of questions. If you have any additional questions or follow-up questions you'd like to ask, we are asking that you use the chat function in Zoom. So if you are in Zoom, you can hit the little chat button and answer or type in any of your questions there. And if you'd like to stay on the call, we will do our best to have Karen and Marta answer all your questions afterwards. So yeah, we have a lot of familiar faces on the call today. In speaking, we'll have our president and CEO, Karen Larson.
Good morning, everybody. Great to see you.
And Marta Julia Ixtuc, our public relations and communications specialist.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see your faces here, and this is a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yeah, so Karen, I'll start with you. It's been about 1 full year already since the first case of COVID was reported in Guatemala, and since then, Friendship Bridge has changed our operational plans a number of times, initiated emergency funding. We've done a lot. So, and yet we still have a clear path forward, which is just a feat for any nonprofit, right? Even during a regular year. But could you tell us a little bit about what you were most worried about a year ago and explain a little bit about what worked well and why it ended up being better than expected?
Yeah, sure. And again, welcome everybody. It's so great to see you all virtually. So yeah, what was I worried about? I would say just about everything. But what ended up being better than we expected. You know, all of you on this call, you've either been to Guatemala or you know our clients and some of our staff there. And in a nutshell, we really have the most amazing staff and the most incredible clients. And that is what stood out more than anything. And that's what allowed us to achieve what we did last year. And I'll try to tell you a little bit in a short time, but essentially in January of 2020, we were just rolling out a super exciting 5-year strategic plan that we had worked the entire prior year to prepare. When in late February, we got news of, like everybody else, a complete lockdown in the country. And the good news is or was the president of Guatemala is actually a medical doctor, and he understood the serious nature of the virus, unlike some other countries, leave unmentioned. And so, you know, the lockdown actually, while it was devastating for many people economically, it really saved a lot of lives. And in Guatemala, what that looked like was no transportation, no markets on very limited hours, curfews, you know, real strict hours that you could be out and about. So clients were, you know, and the people in Guatemala really suffered during that time if their revenue, if their businesses depended on, you know, those things, particularly the ones that relied on tourism, you know, travelers, et cetera. So when we went into lockdown, we decided that for 2 months, we would give all of our clients a grace period on their loan payments. In other words, we didn't want clients to choose between buying food and making a loan payment. So 2 months, April and May, don't worry about your loan payments. We'll, you know, talk to you about that later. And we used that time to really understand what the clients needed from us, how they were being impacted, and to pivot many of our programs and our staff in the country to virtual and teleservices. So by the end of May, we had successfully turned our health services to teleservices. We had our staff all working virtually from home, contacted all of our clients over those 2 months to understand what their their needs were, which ones were still able to work, which ones were struggling to buy food for their families. And that allowed us to come towards the end of that period to roll out some very critical programs that I would say were crucial to the year being as successful as they were. One was an emergency food program, which many of you thankfully helped to support, and we were able to deliver 3,000 food baskets to families that were, severely impacted. We had a technology fundraiser, and that helped us to transition our staff who didn't necessarily have the tools they needed to work at home and contact clients. So we were actually in a pretty good position and pretty knowledgeable of the needs. Come June, when we literally were back out in the field, we were deemed essential workers because we're a bank. And so everybody was back out in the field with all the necessary protocols that COVID required and the protections that staff needed. We transitioned from doing non-formal education meetings to calling on clients individually. It was a tremendous amount of work and effort. And so, no small task for the team, the 170 employees that we have in Guatemala that literally said, we're here for her, and they took care of everything. And it really paid off. The clients understood that we cared about her and that she was our priority. And so when we started collecting payments again from those clients who could pay, they were paying and they were grateful, and many of them needed new loans. So they paid off their loans and got new loans because they needed to continue to work. And these women are resilient and they're fighters, and all 22,000 of them, they're empowered. So it was so humbling and wonderful to see them. And by the end of the year, we actually were collecting over 95% of all of the loan payments, that came due. We did have some percent of clients that really needed to transition their businesses. If you think about those clients in Pana, that sell to the tourists, they really could not do those businesses. And so we introduced some programs to help some clients transition their businesses to little tiendas or, little businesses, things that they could sell and generate income, and gave them the time to rebuild and regain, some of that lost income. We also made a decision very early on that we would try not to lay off anybody. And I am so happy and so proud of the organization that we did not lay off a single person. And what that enabled us to do was to cover the entire country, all 8 branches and all the geography that we needed to, and really stay close to the clients and really understand what her needs are. That was very different than many of our competitors, if you will. Many of the other microfinance institutions laid off people, stopped serving their clients. And so we found ourselves in a really enviable situation where the clients really, really needed us and really felt loyal to us. And for that, we have seen just amazing results at the end of the year. We also, towards year end and during that year where we had some downtime, we were doing a lot of things that we'd never had time to do before, a lot of training that we wanted to get done. We worked on a lot of technology projects that we needed to do. We also were awarded a significant $1 million grant from the Target Foundation to build a program for our higher level leader clients that we are calling our entrepreneur program. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So that's what I'm proud of, Carrie.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's incredible to hear it just summarized in one, brief statement. But Marta, could you tell us a bit more about how Friendship Bridge clients are dealing with the pandemic today? Like, what have they been doing to mitigate their losses if their businesses aren't generating income like they usually would be?
Sure. Thank you, Carrie. It's an honor to be here, and I'm just like very, very happy. And I consider our clients are incredibly resilient, as Carrie has said. For that reason, they quickly and necessarily adapted themselves to the new dynamic in their families and also in their businesses. Our clients are worthy of admiration because they never stopped. As you can see, as you remember having been here, that they always in a move, looking for ways to improve their income and support their families. In fact, I think that the those who drive the entire informal economy are women, like our dear clients. So in that sense, I want to share with you a little bit of Servanda's story. Servanda is a lady in Zacatepeques. She's in her mid 30s. After 5 years of being a Friendship Rich client, I can tell that Servanda is a really empowered woman. During the following months after the first positive case was confirmed in Guatemala, she has to close her typical clothing store due to the government restrictions. So she needs to look for ways that she can improve or she can generate some income. However, she recalled the training about social networks that she learned during the previous months with her loan officer. I remember last year during our insight trip, we saw our clients being trained about social networks and how they can use Google, how they can use WhatsApp. Some of you witnessed that where we were traveling on the field. So Servanda remembered those training, and even that she's a new world for her, an unknown world for her. She decided to do online sales. She uses Facebook, WhatsApp, and she understands that the phone can be used to make business, not only for calls, right? So she started making herself that way. And also she implemented home deliveries. When her clients requested her to deliver products, she just pack up everything and then spray like alcohol on it and just deliver that to her clients. So she shared with me that that option was okay for her because she could continue generating income and support her family. So it's lots of stories. So another one that really amazed me was one of the ladies in Zumpango. Zumpango is a place where the big kite festival takes place every year in November 1st for the Day of the Dead. So these clients makes and sell cheeses. So before the pandemic, she wakes up early in the morning, leave her home and go to different markets to sell products. So with the onset of the pandemic in Guatemala, the buses stopped running for months. Her business stopped for a few weeks, and then she realized that she could sell in her own community, in her own neighborhood. And she said to her children, "Can you help me just to write there a sign and put outside my house and sell Jesus for sale?" And she did it. So she put a sign out there, and her neighbors start buying from her and very frequently. So her business could continue. She could like continue with her income. And then she realized there is other markets where she can sell, and she was so happy with that. And she said, "Oh, this is amazing." So when I called her, she said, "You always find a way to do it. You need to be creative, to reach whatever you want." So like those two stories, like many stories, like last year, we make hundreds of calls to clients and to see first how their health is doing, their own health and their family, but also their business, so they feel so important. They feel part of this family. So that's how amazing our clients are, Carrie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. I know you speak with them quite often, so it's nice to hear from someone who's talking to them regularly. And again, if anyone has questions, feel free, like I said, to use the chat function in Zoom. And if you have any follow-up questions to anything we're talking about, we'd be happy to answer them afterwards. So yeah, going back to you, Karen, can you go into a little more detail about like how Friendship Bridge is setting up for success in the next 5 years?
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. As I mentioned, the year 2020 ended much stronger than we had forecasted. Clients, really coming through much better than we had expected. And so we decided early in January that we had essentially set our strategic plan aside when the pandemic hit. And we didn't know would it take a year or 2 or 3, you know, to get back to a point where we could embark on that again. But we're actually in a really good spot. And so we have picked it back up and we're working on tweaking it and fine tuning it. But we are planning to share it with the board in May. And we, at the end of 2021, we will be right back where we ended 2019. In terms of the size of the portfolio and the number of clients, actually a little bit even better. So, so we're super excited. Our 5-year strategic plan, 21 to 2025, will have 4 pillars to it. The first is growth, and these are very similar to what we had planned to roll out last year. The second pillar, I'll talk about them in a minute. The second pillar is digital transformation. The third is our exciting entrepreneur program. And last is not least the social impact, which is always you know, at the top of our minds, and commitment to our programs and our clients to ensure that what we do has positive impact. And if it doesn't, we make adjustments and ensure that we are making those kinds of changes in our clients' lives. So with regard to growth, we will be growing geographically, not only adding new branches, but growing in the geographies that we're in today. And by the end of 2025, we currently have 8 branches. We will probably have 11 or 12. So pretty substantial growth. And as I mentioned, we're in a really good place already, because we have some markets that have been abandoned by some of our competitors. Digital transformation, that has been a huge area. We had already planned to do a lot of updating and rolling out of new capabilities digitally. One of the things that we've learned, and maybe call it a silver lining in the pandemic, is that as we rolled out our health program and our education services and our communications and marketing to clients, we've learned that is actually a fantastic way to message and share information with clients. And we are not going to stop doing that just because the pandemic, you know, is behind us later this year. So we're going to be growing our digital access by the clients, digital capabilities by our own loan officers, so that we can expand more efficiently and more effectively. So a lot of exciting initiatives there. The entrepreneur program, this is essentially the target grant that I mentioned. It's a 3-year program to literally accelerate our clients' businesses who are higher level clients who have the ability and the desire in their businesses to grow employment and economic activity in their communities. So it's not a lot of clients. At the end of 3 years, we'll have just probably a couple hundred, but the multiplier effect and the benefit in these rural communities will be substantial. And we're super excited about this. And then lastly, in social impact, continuing to build on the great work that's been done to really measure and evaluate and then share globally what we're doing, and help and support other organizations to learn from our successes as well. Big part of our social impact piece. So, and then of course we have, most of you know, we have an agriculture and an artisan program, our Handmade by Friendship Bridge. Both of those areas will be growing substantially in the new years, with not just with numbers of clients accessing those programs, but the programs themselves growing. You'll see Handmade by Friendship Bridge on Amazon soon this year. You'll see them in Shopify. So hang on and shop often. So lots of exciting things to happen. And Insight Trips will be back in business this year or later this year, I believe. So I hope you can all come back to Guatemala soon.
Thanks, Karen. Yeah, we have so many exciting things coming up. Marta, so Friendship Bridge will be returning to the field in April to start facilitating non-formal education sessions again. Could you tell us a little bit about what you hear clients saying about having those services again?
Sure, yeah, thank you. Now that we are returning with our non-formal education program 100% in the field, with the necessary restriction, of course, to protect our staff, clients are very excited. They understand the importance of attending, participating, and learning. So I'm excited as they are. Most of our clients are excited to meet back in person again because I feel like there is a space for them not only to learn, but also a space where they can express themselves and express their comments, their ideas, and their point of view. So they are excited to meet back again. And also Friendship Bridge, during the past year, we've been creative, so we pilot different ways to support our clients, pilot a distance learning. In this time of crisis during COVID, we developed some tools and new ways to continue communicating with our clients through different methods. And we learned that it's actually a really good method that we are going through, continue to develop and grow during and after COVID. And online training, well, it's helping a lot. Clients are interacting through Facebook. And even we launch like every advanced training. If clients participate in the last training they have in February, they learn to make decoration with balloons online. So they meet once a week with a trainer, like online, and they ask questions and keep learning. In April, we have the training about ice cream. So using the fruits they have around them, it's easy to find in the market. So they will make like fresh ice cream. That's another training which will be online, and we have 2 more throughout the year. So it's exciting how they can learn no matter the distance, but they can continue learning. And also clients are commenting and texting and on Facebook, like I said, it's amazing to see. One of them said, "Oh, can you tell us the winner? Who will be the winner?" So I'm very interested to that. So it's amazing, and our staff feels so good by hearing that from our clients. And also we have learned that they are so great and they want to continue learning in different ways. And also we can support our clients differently. It wasn't all doom or gloom, but it's effective. There are still silver lining, as Karen has said, and it will allow us to offer more and better programs to our clients. More frequently and less costly, so our clients are learning differently. They will have different markets to support, but clients still are client focused. So it's amazing how we can be creative during crisis and learn move forward. So it's incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the updates, Karen and Marta. And thanks everyone again for joining us today. We will be sending you an email after this with a special coupon for our online store at Handmade by Friendship Bridge so that you can have a little discount when you're shopping. And we wish you a great International Women's Day. We are also hosting an exciting online sale coordinated by our Circles volunteers. So we hope you'll find something there as well. All of the proceeds from that event benefit Friendship Bridge, and we will send a link to that sale as well in the email after this. Thank you so much to Karen and Marta and to everyone for joining us. We hope we can celebrate today, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Enjoy this.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. Thank you.
Good to see you.